To say you gotta know somebody, or know somebody to get somewhere.
Good afternoon. Get ready for Addicted to Real Estate Radio. I'm Phil Falcone, or better known as the host with the most co-hosts. My co-hosts are Jeremy Ricci and Larry Steinhaus here on WWDB 860 AM every Thursday from 3 o'clock to 4 o'clock. If you want to ask us a question or you have a real estate need, you can give us a call, 267-988-2000. So are you wondering who is addicted to real estate? Well, let me tell you who we are. We're full-time real estate investors, so we buy houses. If you have a house you're looking to sell and you'd like to do it in a quick and easy, painless way, we're the guys you want to talk to. We're also a real estate agency, one in Montgomeryville, one in Hatboro, and one in Huntington Valley, PA. And we specialize in bridging the gap between realtors and investors. So if you're a realtor who wants to be an investor, or you're an investor who wants to be a realtor, we are the place you want to hang your license. We encourage our agents to invest in real estate, and that is something very different from what most traditional agencies do. We also have tons of information that we put out there to help people be investors and be better realtors. And we have meetings every month, and our next meeting is coming up at the Maggie's Waterfront Cafe in Northeast Philadelphia, right by the Linden Avenue boat docks, right near the Academy Road exit of I-95 on August 17th at 7 p.m. And if you're in that typical area and you'd like to come out and hang out with us and talk about real estate investing, talk about how as a real estate agent you could add a whole nother stream of income to just being an agent, then Addicted to Real Estate is the place you want to be. August 17th, Maggie's Waterfront Cafe at 7 p.m. So how you guys doing today?
I'm doing great. I'm excited for our next meeting, excited for this show. We are live streaming on Facebook. Thank you for helping us out with that, Larry.
Well, you know, I get the chance to be live streaming too.
Yeah.
I do have to tell you that this camera angle makes me look terrible, though. So I'm gonna let you hold it for a little while. Because ew, it was terrible, wasn't it? Were you looking at it, Macaroni? It looked terrible, didn't it? You looked like I had a forehead that was bigger than your whole body.
How do you switch? Okay, there we go. At least we turned the lights on this week.
Yes, and people can see what we're doing. Yes, exactly.
It's still a little dark.
So I'm pretty excited. What are we going to be talking about today, Jeremy? I get to hold the
So
camera for you now, huh?
we have questions for
All
the day, and for those of you that are watching us on Facebook, you can send in your questions live right now. We do have one question from Doug that was, what's the strategy for investing in houses with no equity, or do you just pass on those deals and look for ones with equity?
That's a great question. I can't wait to answer that one.
Incidentally, our next meeting that Phil had mentioned on Wednesday, August 17th, is going to be how to monetize every possible lead you can. So instead of just saying no to sellers, we can't help you, we have ways to monetize every deal. We're going to talk about those at our Wednesday, August 17th meeting. So get out to Maggie's on the waterfront. In the summer, it's a great time to be out there on the water. It's really nice. So that's our one question. Hopefully you guys can send in some more questions to the live stream. We'll stay in tune to that. Any real estate questions you have, put them in right now. And on our main topic, we're going to talk about strange deals, or as I like to call it, screwy deals. We're going to talk about some funny stories that Phil and Larry and myself have all done.
Hey, wait a minute. You said the topic was crazy deals.
Crazy deals.
Now it's strange deals?
Okay.
That's a whole nother topic. Yeah. Screwy deals is a completely different topic as well.
Well, you said whole nother. That's not even a word. That's another whole topic.
Well, that's why I hang around with you, is to improve my use of the English language.
So we're going to talk about crazy deals. We'll talk about some crazy deals. We do have some stories about crazy deals.
So we don't have any questions yet. We need to see some
questions. We have
questions.
that one question. So let's
I'll tell you what. You could talk about screwy deals. You could talk about strange deals. I'm going to talk about crazy deals.
Okay, that's good enough.
Well, you know, I don't know. The word crazy kind of goes with Phil, so let's go with that.
I'm okay with that. I'm okay with being called that.
All right, so who's going to give us some questions live while we go? We have to go to an actual real commercial.
Yeah, I guess we do. Let's do that.
So it gives us about 3 minutes. 3 minutes to give us our questions. Go ahead, Phil.
What am I doing?
You're taking us to the break.
Okay. All right. Stick around as we're going to discuss these amazing deals and much, much more. You're listening to Addicted to Real Estate Radio. We'll be right back.
As a real estate agent, you know that most people buy a house once every 7 years. Imagine working with clients that buy 7 houses every year. At Addicted to Real Estate, they teach you how to work with investors because they are investors. Located in Montgomeryville, Hatboro, and Huntington Valley, work at an agency built for investors, by investors, and finally learn how to invest yourself. Addicted to Real Estate Agency. Call them now, 215-321-SELL. 215-321-SELL.
I can't stand this traffic. I need a vacation.
Slip away to Siesta Key in Sarasota, Florida. You can stay at one of our vacation rentals at the #1 rated beach in the United States. Check out GoSiesta.com, where you can rent a fully furnished vacation rental for less than the cost of a stinking hotel room. Check out GoSiesta.com or call 863-2SIESTA. That's 863-2SIESTA or GoSiesta.com. GoSiesta.com or call 863-2SIESTA.
I'm going.
When dealing with your home financing, you need a lender you can trust. A mortgage lender like Thomas Farris at First Choice Loan Services Incorporated. The purchase of your home will likely be the largest financial investment you will make in your lifetime. Work with a mortgage provider who considers your long-term financial goals and puts you first. Thomas Farris at First Choice Loan Services will provide you competitive mortgage rates and service beyond belief for every step of the loan process. Call Thomas Farris at 215-983-8649 today to visit about your mortgage needs. Thomas Farris, NMLS, number is 785398. First Choice Loan Services Incorporated, NMLS, number 210764, Equal Housing Lender.
Robinson Insurance Group is Addicted to Real Estate's preferred insurance broker. Why deal with an insurance agent who only represents one company? Robinson Insurance Group can quote you all the companies and shop to get you the best insurance for your needs. Fix and flip, landlord coverage, last-minute deals, no problem. Investor deals are no issue and nobody is ever denied. Call Robinson Insurance Group, 215-918-2555. That's 215-918-2555.
I'm Phil Falcone from Executech Suites. I got a question for you. What do you get for $4.95 a month at Executech Suites? You get an office big enough for one person. You get the furniture in that office. You get the telephone on the desk. You get the telephone number. You get the fax number. You get the internet. You get 2 full-time receptionists to answer the phone in the name of your company and patch the calls to you, whether you're in the office, in your car, or at home sleeping on a couch. You get the conference rooms, you get the mailboxes, you get the printer, the copier, the scanner, you get the janitorial service, the utilities, and free coffee. I know it's hard to believe that you could get all those things for $495 a month, but it's true. 67 Buckle Road in Huntington Valley, Executech Suites. Give us a call, 215-942-7701, 215-942-7701.
Hi, I'm Larry Steinhaus, and I'm addicted to real estate. Are you a real estate investor? Do you know the value of having a real estate license? It's awesome. You get to make even more money and get exposed to deals you probably would have missed. Well, today is your lucky day. I will pay for your real estate license. Find out more by calling me at 215-378-9190. That's right, I will pay for your license. Call now, 215-378-9190. Addicted to real estate, bridging the gap between investors and realtors. 215-378-9190.
Welcome back to Addicted to Real Estate Radio. We're getting started on the first segment here with questions, and we're going to go live with some live questions on the air. If you're on Facebook right now, send in your questions. The first question we have here is from Doug, and Doug asks us, what's the strategy for investing in houses with no equity, or do you pass on deals like that for ones that do have equity? So now we have somebody in our Addicted to Real Estate office who's a short sale negotiator, so one way you can invest in houses with no equity is to short sale them. And for those of you who don't know, a short sale is the process where you get the bank to accept less than is owed on the mortgage for payment in full. So you get the bank to accept less. So let's say a mortgage, there's $200,000 owed on a particular house, and you make an offer for $150,000. You'd have to make that offer contingent upon the bank accepting a haircut, a discount. So that's one way you can do it as a short sale. Phil, what's another way we could do deals with no equity?
Well, there's first thing I would say about Doug's question is he says, or do you just pass on them? I hate to pass on deals for several reasons. First of all, it's hard to find good leads. It's hard to find leads in general. And when you get one in your hands, that you wanna try to work with it. In addition to that, on the other side of the table, you've got somebody that needs your help, and I'd like to try to help them if I can. That's what the whole business is. That's what our whole business is based on, is word of mouth, of doing business with people and helping them out, and then they tell other people about our company and how we can help them. So I always want to explore every possible option imaginable before I just walk away from a deal. And another way that you could do a deal that has no equity in it would be to possibly take over the mortgage payments. The mortgage takeover program, or as we like to say, subject to, but I think it's much sexier to say the mortgage takeover program. And basically what we do is, in a normal real estate deal, somebody's house gets paid off with the funds from the buyer. And in the way that we do the deal with the mortgage takeover program is we do not pay off the existing mortgage. We just continue to make payments on it, but we own the house. And if you'd like to learn more about that, you should start coming to our meetings. You can check us out at addictedtorealestate.com with the number 2, addictedtorealestate.com. It's an amazing way to buy houses. Taking over a mortgage in many ways is almost like buying a free house. You don't have to put down the 20 or 25 or 30% down. You don't have to apply for a loan with a bank. You don't have to pay the traditional points and closing costs that you normally would. You do have to pay some closing costs, and typically if somebody's letting you take over their mortgage, that's something you want to do. But it's a much easier, faster, and smoother way to acquire a property that has no equity in it.
Now, I'm going to give you guys a really good example of what Phil just talked about. And, what you said was great. You want to help people, and at the same time, we want to acquire real estate. So the question, and how was that question worded exactly? Because I want to address it the exact way it was worded.
He said, what's the strategy for investing in houses with no equity, or do you pass on those deals for ones that do have equity?
So I'm going to give you a great example of a deal that I just did. These guys know about it. But this was a deal where somebody called me up, and the guy was being deployed, and he owned a condo. It was actually a townhouse that he bought about 2 years ago, and he paid $175 for it. He owed $157 on it. And when I did the comps, I don't know how, but when I did the comps, the best I could appraise that or comp that house at would be about $140. So right now he's $17,000 in the hole. I actually asked him, I said, how did you get it appraised for $175 when you got your original loan? And he said that's what they were selling for. So they actually took a hit, which in this market is surprising, but they did take a hit. So when I asked him what his payment was and what it was costing him out of pocket, his payment was around $1,000, and the fees were around $200. And I realized I could probably rent the place for about $1,300. So there's not a whole lot of money in it if I took over his mortgage. But at the same time, most importantly, I could help this guy. He had a situation where it was impossible for him to get out of this loan. I mean, if he would have sold his house traditionally with a realtor, he probably would have had to come to closing with about $30,000. Without a realtor, at least $17,000 plus the transfer taxes. So he had a big problem. So when I proposed to him that I would take the property over subject to and explain to him how it worked, he said, "This is awesome. This is great. I'm so excited." And sure enough, I took that house. Now remember, I'm taking that house with $17,000 in the hole if you go just based on equity value. But I've got about $100 a month positive cash flow. And after closing costs and everything I needed to put into the house, I think it was less than $5,000 out of my pocket. And interestingly enough, the day I bought it, I had it rented already, and the tenants came with 2 months' rent, and most of the fees that I paid at closing covered the first month rent and the last month rent covered my fees anyway. So I think it actually out of pocket cost me about $1,000 to buy this house. So yes, we will buy houses that are underwater, and we also will make money on them. So don't ever think that just because somebody has no equity in their house that you can't make money on this house.
Now, do you have to be certified in scuba to buy a house that's underwater? Because I didn't get certified yet. One of the other things I'll say is, you're talking about subject to deals, is sometimes when the cash flow doesn't make sense on a subject to deal, let's say the rent's $1,000 a month that you can get, and the mortgage payment's $1,000 a month. So there's no equity in the property, and there's no cash flow in the property. Well, there's another strategy that we use, and I'll call it continued seller's assist. So you've heard of a seller's assist where the seller helps you out on the purchase? Well, we've done deals, subject to deals, where we have the seller supplement the payments. So let's say they have they're hurting with $1,000 payment a month that that they can't make or they're not making. What if you say to them, I'll take over most of your payment. I'll take over $800 of your $1,000 a month payment. So what I would do is I would have the seller pay me a check for $200 a month. And what I tell them is, look, I'll take over your mortgage payments, but I will not pay them unless you pay me $200 a month. And if I don't get your check, I'm not paying your payment. And because I want to make sure that they pay. So they're paying me $200 a month. I then pay their $1,000 mortgage. And then I rent it out for $1,000 a month. Maybe I'll do a rent to own on it and try to get $1,200 a month. So it helps me get more cash flow. So sometimes on a subject to deal, people walk away because the cash flow doesn't make sense. Well, you can ask the seller, instead of paying $1,000, would it hurt less if you paid $200 a month? So I've done subject to deals that way. And we maybe put a finite number and say, look, if you were to sell this through a real estate agent, you would have to write a check at closing. I will stretch out that check over a period of 3 years. And you just pay $200 a month to me for 3 years. And at 3 years, there's a drop dead point where at that point, you don't have any payments to me whatsoever. And then what I'll do is by the time that 3 years comes around, I'll have upped rents where there will be cash flow. So that's another strategy.
So, Jeremy, I actually took a house subject to that had a negative $14 a month cash flow. So
$14.
I know, it was actually costing me $14 a month. But the one thing about subject to that most people don't catch either is the older the loan, the more equity I make in every payment. So this loan that I took over was 10 years old. So when I took over this loan, most of my payment, well, not most of my payment, but a good third plus of the payment was going towards the equity of the house. So although I'm putting $14 a month out of my pocket, the equity in the house was building by about $225, $230 a month. That's a great return every month.
So a lot of that cash flow, it's the cost is cash flow, but the benefit is you're getting amortization, you're getting principal pay down.
Absolutely.
On
correct.
that. So you say, okay, well, I'm losing $14 a month, but I get how much per month?
Right. It was about $230 a month is what I was getting in equity. So that's a pretty good return.
Now, you don't want to you'd like to have all deals make you money and cash flow every month.
Of course.
So you don't want to look for deals where you're losing money every month.
Even at $14, you can only do so many of them.
But yeah, right. Eventually it'll wear out.
Yeah, but come on, you know that if a property's losing $14 a month, you're really probably losing a lot more than that because you've got no cash flow to cover when the air conditioner goes, when the roof goes, when a window needs replacing, and things like that. But let's talk about something really exciting. At our store in Hapro, on July 30th, they're having the world-famous Hapro Car Show. So for any of you muscleheads out there who love antique cars and all kinds of cars that they have at the Hapro Car Show, on July 30th, I think it starts around 1 o'clock or 2 o'clock in the afternoon. It's a great car show. And at the Addicted to Real Estate agency that we have in Hapro, we're going to have a really exciting combination of things for people to do. For the kiddies, we're going to have a moon bounce. So bring the kiddies. The dad can check out the cars. The kiddies can get on the moon bounce. And we're also going to have, possibly, we're working it out, the details now, pony rides.
And that's for the senior citizens, right?
Right. Well, that can be for the moms, the kids, and the senior citizens, yes. But the part that I'm really excited about, I'm working this out with our insurance company right now, is a combo with the ponies and the family on the moon bounce all at the same time. So we'll have to see how that goes. I mean, we like to spice things up, and we try to be outside the box at Addicted to Real Estate. And I mean, if you have never been on a pony on a moon bounce, I mean, that's something you really want to try. Okay.
That's awesome.
Another thing I was thinking about, you guys were talking about houses underwater. It's really a terrible, terrible phrase because there is actually a category of houses underwater. I know. I own some properties in flood zones. So I've had some real houses underwater. And saying that a house is underwater, what you're really saying is that you have negative equity. So let's start calling things negative equity.
Okay, sure.
The actual phrase underwater just automatically gives a sick feeling in my stomach.
So we have a question that showed up. Brett asked the question, is an older home as good a value as a new home? Which I can't even tell the difference between an older home and a new home. I just know that I paid this, I'm going to sell it for that. And
Yeah, I mean, you're always looking for good deals. So if you can make a good deal on an older home, that's great. Make a deal on a newer home, that's fine too. I will say that every time I bring Phil a home that's built like in the early 1900s, he grimaces. So I would say that the newer homes are going to have less maintenance issues. So if you can get a great deal, if you can buy a newer home at a discount or with some great financing on it, you're going to have less wear and tear on the building. You're going to have less things that go wrong with it. You're going to have better insulation, better utility bills. So I would say for those reasons, it's good to buy newer housing stock if you have less repairs.
So I actually owned a house circa 1840, I think it was. It was a bed and breakfast in Buckingham, if you guys know where that is. And it was
It's a great area to have a bed and breakfast. Yeah.
It was actually neat, but the house was so neat. First of all, the house had been renovated so many times. It had modern plumbing now and all these things. But there were so many odd things with the home. You couldn't snake wires. Everything had to be run because it was all brick, it was all stone. And the other thing too is one time I was trying to run a line from the inside to the outside, and I didn't realize that the walls were 2 feet thick. Because that's what they use as insulation, was 2 feet of stone. So that's kind of neat, but kind of a pain in the neck. I learned what a star drill was when I ran that line. So anyway, I made money on that house. I made money on other old houses, but they're just different, and you just have to remember that.
Another big problem with older houses is that because if a house was built, say, in 1800, there's a much higher percentage of a chance that somebody who lived in that house died, and so you got a higher percentage of having ghosts in a house. So
we had ghosts.
Yeah, that's one of the reasons I don't like older houses,
I just saw I think it was on one of these Facebook yard sales or something, that somebody was selling like one of these kits to detect ghosts, like electronic magnetic something or other. I was cracking up. I thought that was hilarious.
There's a lot of people who believe that there are ghosts out there and that they have haunted houses. I know plenty of landlords that claim to have haunted houses. I don't have a problem with the ghost being there, but they never pay rent, and how the hell are you supposed to enforce it? So it's a real problem.
Well, no, I'll tell you a ghost story if you want to hear it. All right, we'll have to have that ghost story for another time because we're actually going to another commercial soon. But that was an amazing ghost story.
All right, so before we end this segment, I want to remind you we're having our meeting on August 17th at the Maggie's Waterfront Cafe, right by the Academy Road exit of 95. And in July, the Hatboro Car Show. Don't forget to check it out and come out and see us. You're listening to Addicted to Real Estate Radio. We'll be right back.
Have you heard about the recent low mortgage rates? Have you started thinking about refinancing your home? Why not work with a mortgage lender who puts you first? Thomas Farris at First Choice Loan Services Incorporated will provide you personalized service to make sure your home financing meets your needs both now and in the future. Call Thomas Farris at 215-983-8649 today and learn how the current low interest rates may mean it's the right time for you to buy or refinance. Call Thomas Farris at 215-983-8649. Thomas Farris, NMLS, number is 785398. First Choice Loan Services Incorporated, NMLS, number 210764, Equal Housing Lender.
Hi, my name's Phil Falcone. I wrote a book called Addicted to Real Estate, Why I Can't Stop and Why You Should Start. And if you'd love to see an investment book written by a Philadelphian about investing in Philadelphia, I'm your man. You can check out my book at addictedtorealestate.com with the number 2. I have a free web TV show there. I have free investment forums for real estate investors. And I have my book that you can check out, Addicted to Real Estate, Why I Can't Stop and Why You Should Start. And the website is addictedtorealestate with the number 2.com.
Robinson Insurance Group is Addicted to Real Estate's preferred insurance broker. Why deal with an insurance agent who only represents one company? Robinson Insurance Group can quote you all the companies and shop to get you the best insurance for your needs. Fix and flip, landlord coverage, last-minute deals, no problem. Investor deals are no issue and nobody is ever denied. Call Robinson Insurance Group, 215-918-2555. That's 215-918-2555.
As a real estate agent, you know that most people buy a house once every 7 years. Imagine working with clients that buy 7 houses every year. At Addicted to Real Estate, they teach you how to work with investors because they are investors. Located in Montgomeryville, Hatboro, and Huntington Valley, work at an agency built for investors, by investors, and finally learn how to invest yourself. Addicted to Real Estate Agency. Call them now, 215-321-SELL. 215-321-SELL.
I'm Phil Falcone from Executech Suites. Do you have a voicemail machine answering your business calls during the day? Oh, please tell me it's not true. I have an answering service for you that only costs $99 a month. We're real humans. That's right, we have live humans answering the phone in the name of your company and patching the calls to you for only $99 a month. And there are no contracts, so you can try it out anytime you like and cancel it whenever you like. Executech Suites, 215-942-7701.
Hi, I'm Larry Steiness, and I'm addicted to real estate. Have you been thinking about getting your real estate license? Well, have I got news for you. We are currently training new agents to be addicted to real estate. If you are tired of your day-to-day, paycheck-to-paycheck life, I will pay for your real estate school and your license. Become addicted to real estate on me. Hurry before we change our minds. Call me at 215-378-9190. That's 215-378-9190. Call now, 215-378-9190.
Welcome back to Addicted to Real Estate Radio. So we're going to get started with our main topic today, which is we're going to talk about crazy/screwy/strange deals. And why don't I just start, since I am bringing this segment in, and I love to hear the sound of my own voice. So I'm going to tell you a little bit about one of the crazy deals that I've done in my life. I used to read the newspapers years ago looking for ads about houses for sale. You know, a lot of them ads will be listed by a realtor, but sometimes you'll get sellers that actually go and put an ad right in the newspaper. And in this particular case, there was an ad about a house for sale, and it was listed by an attorney. Now, what had happened was the sellers died. The children, they had 4 children. They were all successful people who didn't necessarily need the money. But the fact that they were chopping it 4 ways and the house wasn't worth a tremendous amount of money, they just had this attorney handle the whole thing. So he put an ad in the paper, and he asked for a written auction. So you were given a date. You were supposed to write down what you were going to pay for the house. So I believe I put in an offer of something like $125,000, and my offer wasn't accepted. I later on found out from the attorney, because I called him like a month later when I didn't hear back from him. He said something to the effect that that an offer was accepted. I think it was I forget what the numbers were. It might have been around $125,000 as well. And I couldn't help but notice for a year I'm driving by this house and nobody's working on it. So I kept calling the attorney, and finally one day I get him on the phone about a year after the initial phone call, and he says, "Oh, you know what? The person who won the bid never settled on it." And I said, "So what have you been doing with it since?" And he goes, the heirs weren't really concerned about it, and he was going to get around to it sooner or later." I said, "Come on, man." I said, "Where was my bid in the thing?" He said, "Yeah, you were like a backup bid, so I had to pay $125,000 for the thing." And I said, "Fine, let's do it." Now this house, what made this house so weird is the shape it was in. This house was neglected for about 25 years. There were mice running all around the inside of the house. The gutters around this house had 2 feet of vegetation. There was dirt or shingles deteriorating, or a combination of dirt and shingles deteriorating. The gutters became like giant flower boxes. So there was 2 feet of vegetation growing out of the gutters all around the entire perimeter of the house. The roof was so worn out, it looked like a pirate ship had gone down the road and shot cannonballs at the roof. gigantic holes like so big in the roof that you could get up on a ladder and stick your head right out and see the outside. I mean, so it was raining inside this house for years. They had tarps on it, but the tarps were blowing away. They were ripped, the whole thing. It was infested with termites. I mean, everywhere. They were eating everything in sight. And the house had like a crawl space. And I remember the dining room was wooden floor. And it just had to be completely torn out because you could almost like poke a screwdriver right through it. One of my friends showed up at the house one day. And I'm standing in the crawl space, which is about 4 feet, deep. And with the rest of my body popped out above it, I'm ripping out the wooden dining room floor. And termites, they were so used to being in the house, they didn't even run away when I was there. So they were all around me, on the wood, I'm touching and everything else. And my friend came in and he goes, this is the craziest thing I've ever seen.
Usually that happens with cockroaches, right? The cockroaches get so accustomed to there, they stay, right?
There was termites everywhere. I mean, this is this nutty house. There was a shed out back that I swear to God, I knocked it over with a screwdriver. I just took the screwdriver, pointed it into the house, and pushed, and the whole shed just collapsed. And this house was just unbelievably terrible condition and neglected for so many years. And of course, I came in and I invested about $65,000 into the house. I bought it for around $125,000, so I had less than $200,000 into it. And I sold it for $320,000. So it was a great real estate deal for me. I made about $125,000 in profit. And I even avoided the short-term capital gains by renting the property out for a couple of years before I sold it. So what a great real estate deal. And it all came from reading the newspaper.
All right. I got a couple deals. You guys tell me which one you want to hear. I got the deal where I bought a deal that I didn't get, but I chased down. That was crazy, where I chased down the pirate of Pine Island. I actually almost bought a house from a pirate. Found him on a boat. Okay. I got one that I bought from a drug dealer. That when I say a drug dealer, he was convicted of dealing drugs, and he had to sell his house in order to pay restitution. So that was another crazy one. And we bought a house that had human remains in it.
Oh, I've sold one of those.
Yeah, no. We bought a house that actually came with a bunch of furniture, came with a bunch of booze.
Oh, that's right.
And it came with a jar of ashes from a lady who died in the house. Is that crazy? That's crazy.
Yeah, that's spooky.
Spooky. So
okay,
which one you want to hear?
I'll take the human remains house.
Okay. Well, you know about that one, but I'll tell it anyway.
Okay, but there are a few other people listening.
Yeah. So this
think?
Yeah.
Besides me, yes. To the audience, I must disclose I know about this deal.
So this lady walks in her office with a piece of paper in her hand, and it's her mortgage statement. So what do I say? As soon as she walks in, she didn't say a word. The first thing I said to her is, so I guess you want me to take over your mortgage? She said, how did you know? So anyway, she's moving down to Florida with her husband. It was a remarriage, so this was the guy's second wife, and they cut out of the house and left everything behind. They said, we're out of here. We don't care. If you want the house, great, take it. And we ended up just buying the house subject to the mortgage, and it didn't pay a dime. Oh, you know what? I think we paid him like $3,000. We gave him $3,000. But as I was negotiating the deal, I said to the people, if I'm going to give you $3,000, you need to leave me $3,000 worth of stuff in the house that I could then sell. So they left a bar, they left refrigerators, they left a table. In fact, I used the table in my house. They left like a slot machine. What else did they leave? They left a bunch of stuff.
Yeah, a lot of stuff.
A bar full of booze, and then as we're taking the booze out of the bar, we find in the back this strange shaped booze bottle, which turned out to be an urn of ashes. So they actually forgot the remains of the guy's ex-wife.
The guy's ex-wife.
Ex-wife. Yeah.
I don't think they
sad,
forgot him.
It was a sad story, though. No, it was a sad story.
Okay.
But anyway, I even called the son. I tracked down the son to give him his mom's remains, and he thought it was like a scam. He thought I was calling him as a scam. So to this day, the remains sit on the shelf in the office, and I have to convince the kid to come get them.
I think, since the radio audience is listening, put out the words that tell people maybe there's an heir out there that will come and get these remains.
I know. I actually have the kid's phone number and everything, so it's not that it's not that I don't know who he is. It's just that I got to convince him to come.
How long do you intend to hold on to these remains, Johnny?
I don't know. I should, it's crazy. But it was a neat deal in that we bought it subject to the mortgage. We actually sold it on a rent to own, so we got a down payment from the people that moved in there, and we're getting cash flow each and every month. It's part of a homeowners association, which is not my favorite thing to be a part of, as many of you know. And that was a crazy deal in that. Number one, the people just left. Now, the other thing that was neat is they filed bankruptcy prior to this, but the mortgage was current. So they filed bankruptcy. They included the mortgage in the bankruptcy, the note. And they had obligations that they no longer had an obligation to pay the mortgage. Now, the house had an obligation in the sense that if the mortgage wasn't paid, they could foreclose on the house, but they could never go after the people because they had bankrupted out their personal obligation on that note. So the note was no longer the promissory note was no longer enforceable to them, but it was enforceable to the house.
Yeah,
so that was pretty neat.
Yeah. I could think of something else that was interesting about that deal is when you rented the property to those people, there was a bar in the house, pretty nice bar, and they wanted it. So you made a deal with the people to pay us so much money a month. I had to look up the invoices, but they are still paying us. I think it's about $100 a month, right? So it's about $100.
Yeah, I thought it was 50 or something, but whatever it was, yeah. So they were paying off the bar that we included with
All
the
I can
house.
tell you is that they've been living in the house for how long now?
I don't know.
A year and a half?
Yeah, at least.
Over a year,
No, it
right?
might be 2 years. Maybe 2.5 years.
Yeah, you got to be pushing 2 years, and I know that every invoice, and they get bi-weekly invoices. Every invoice, maybe it's $50, or it's prorated for 52 weeks a year, so it might be like $47 every 2 weeks they pay for that bar. At this point, I think we got the $3,000 back.
Yeah,
So-
it was a nice house.
That wasn't the only thing that.
It was a well-maintained house. It was owner-occupied. It became a rental with us, but it was probably the biggest house in that development. These are townhouses, and this was a townhouse where it was situated. It was a townhouse with a walkout basement, and there was a creek running behind it. So it was a nice place. It was a nice place. We, got a lot of cool stuff. We should make an episode about how many all the cool stuff we get out of houses that we get the sellers to throw in with houses when we buy them.
So, you brought up condo associations. I just had a nasty phone call come to me. I believe it was late Friday, and it's a condo association from a house that we own in Meadowwood. And the association manager says, we've been sending you mail and you're not responding. And I said, well, what's the address? And she had the wrong address. So I said, well, you have the wrong address. Let me give you the right one. And the next thing out of her mouth is, well, it's the owner's responsibility to make sure that we have the right address. Oh, okay, that's really nice. And then she informs me that the automatic payment that we had set up is like $12 short of the new increase. Since we weren't getting the mail, we didn't know there was an increase. And she also then proceeded to inform me that they were very close to putting it into collection, so I better square up with the difference between the $12 a month that is now putting me into a danger zone of collections. And then, in addition to that, this phone call just keeps going downhill, okay, like skiing in the Colorado Rockies. The next thing she says is that we need a copy of your lease. I said, well, the tenant's been in the property for 18 years, so I'm sure that you have the lease. They've been there a heck of a lot longer than we've owned the place.
Yeah, what's their business with the leases anyway?
Okay.
I have that same issue.
This has turned into rant about homeowners associations versus crazy deals.
Okay. Would you like me to stop, or should I keep
No,
going?
keep going.
Keep going. Keep
'cause
going.
I'm with you. I
Keep
hate those
going.
things.
Okay.
Keep going.
So she informs me that, but since you're the new owner, it's your obligation to send us the lease, regardless if the people have been there for 18 years. Oh, and here comes the next thing. Guess what? We have to pay them $125 so that they can review the lease that I'm about to send them.
Well, just charge them $125 for paperwork request. For us to process their paperwork request, it's $125.
Okay. There was something else too, but at this point, my blood pressure is starting to go. I don't know. We're live streaming on Facebook. I don't know if any of my veins are popping through my neck.
If I know Phil, you handled this so well, didn't you?
Well, you know I'm a real sweetie to deal with.
Right.
you
I'm
know.
sure you said to the woman, no problem. Everything is fine.
Actually, what I did was I wasn't saying anything because it was one of those situations where I was ready to blow a head gasket, and she kept saying, "Are you still there, Mr. Falcone?" Yes. I was afraid to continue the conversation because what else was coming, you know?
Larry, tell us about a crazy deal. Or wait, are you doing screwy deal? No, Strange. You're doing Strange. Tell us about a Strange.
You know, I have to tell you that after listening to your deals, my deals are so simple compared to your deals. But the only thing I can tell you about is a strange occurrence that I had where I had, and Phil's going to be so upset with me with this, but I bought a house that had illegal Mexicans living in the house. And when I bought the house, I didn't ask if they were legal or not. I had a lease. I got everything I needed. And within 3 months, the town decided that they were going to make an ordinance to have, where you can only have a certain amount of people living in the house. Well, this house was a used house. It was like 2,800 square feet. And there were 6 people living in it. No big deal. And they had to be related according to the ordinance. So one day, and I'm collecting my rent, and I don't see a problem. The property's well maintained. As a matter of fact, it was probably one of the nicest houses on the block, at least from the outside. The inside was pretty disgusting, but from the outside, it was pretty nice. And all of a sudden, I get a phone call one day from someone who says, "Your house is on TV." I said, "What do you mean my house is on TV?" And sure enough, in the local news had my house on TV because there were 35 people living in there, and I had no idea. So they find me, they find the people, and they ask that they all move out. So the fines, ready for this? $7,000 worth of fines. I went to court and I said,
they charge you per person or something?
I don't know. No, it was the list of violations was unbelievable. So I went to court and I said, I don't understand how this could even happen. And I went to the prosecutor and I said, and they said, you shouldn't, and this was the best. Because knowing a little bit about the law made me win. They said, you should inspect your properties more often. And I was able to give them the exact dates of when I inspected the properties. And it just so happened that it happened like within 30 days of the last inspection that these people moved in. And I was able to prove that. And they actually reduced the fine to $700. And I said, fine, no problem.
All they did was take a zero off. Yeah.
It's a long story, and there's a lot to it. There's a lot of pieces to it. But it was just crazy.
You started out saying that they were illegal Mexicans.
Did I say that? Was that politically incorrect?
Well, I'm curious. Were they as illegal aliens, or were they illegal because they had too many people in the house, or were they illegal in some other way I'm unaware of?
I'm actually going to say that they were illegal in every one of those ways that you're talking about.
Right. So they were redundantly illegal.
They were redundantly illegal, and I actually put a sign on the property after all this happened. It said, "I'm not Border Patrol. I'm not the police." Something else. I'm just a landlord trying to make money. I don't remember what the whole story was, but there was a big write-up. It was actually, if you ever want to do a search on Google, you look up Lambertville landlord, and you'll find this. But it's like 10 years ago.
You should have charged per person. No, I'm kidding. That
actually
was a very unsafe situation with 35 people.
That's what happened.
Yeah.
The person inside the house was renting the rooms to people and charging them per person.
Like 5 people per room or something?
Yeah, and I had no idea what was happening.
That's happened to Jeremy before, too. But we'll have to talk about that at our next segment. So stick around because we have a secret topic coming up on the next segment. And you're listening to Addicted to Real Estate Radio. We'll be right back.
As a real estate agent, you know that most people buy a house once every 7 years. Imagine working with clients that buy 7 houses every year. At Addicted to Real Estate, they teach you how to work with investors because they are investors. Located in Montgomeryville, Hatboro, and Huntington Valley, work at an agency built for investors, by investors, and finally learn how to invest yourself. Addicted to Real Estate Agency. Call them now, 215-321-SELL. 215-321-SELL.
Hi, my name's Phil Falcone. I wrote a book called Addicted to Real Estate, Why I Can't Stop and Why You Should Start. And if you'd love to see an investment book written by a Philadelphian about investing in Philadelphia, I'm your man. You can check out my book at addicted2realestate.com with the number 2. I have a free web TV show there. I have free investment forums for real estate investors. And I have my book that you can check out, Addicted to Real Estate, Why I Can't Stop and Why You Should Start. And the website is addicted2realestate with the number 2.com.
Robinson Insurance Group is Addicted to Real Estate's preferred insurance broker. Why deal with an insurance agent who only represents one company? Robinson Insurance Group can quote you all the companies and shop to get you the best insurance for your needs. Fix and flip, landlord coverage, last-minute deals, no problem. Investor deals are no issue and nobody is ever denied. Call Robinson Insurance Group, 215-918-2555. That's 215-918-2555.
Hi, I'm Larry Steinhaus, and I'm addicted to real estate. Are you a real estate investor? Do you know the value of having a real estate license? It's awesome. You get to make even more money and get exposed to deals you probably would have missed. Well, today is your lucky day. I will pay for your real estate license. Find out more by calling me at 215-378-9190. That's right, I will pay for your license. Call now, 215-378-9190. Addicted to real estate, bridging the gap between investors and realtors. 215-378-9190. I can't stand this traffic. I need a vacation.
Slip away to Siesta Key in Sarasota, Florida. You can stay at one of our vacation rentals at the #1 rated beach in the United States. Check out GoSiesta.com, where you can rent a fully furnished vacation rental for less than the cost of a stinking hotel room. Check out GoSiesta.com or call 863-2SIESTA. That's 863-2SIESTA or GoSiesta.com. GoSiesta.com or call 863-2SIESTA.
I'm going.
Welcome back to Addicted to Real Estate Radio. On this part of the segment, we're going to talk about real estate investing and how simple it is. And we're curious all the time about why people don't get involved in real estate investing, especially real estate agents, why agents don't get involved in it. They have access to all that data. They have access to all the tools. You know, maybe they need some more tools, but we can help them with that, right?
They're licensed, they're educated, they go for continuing education, they earn their living in this world, in the real estate business, and yet the bulk of them don't own any investment properties. Fascinating to me. Just amazing.
You know, I find when I meet people who are successful real estate agents, the really successful ones, you ask them every once in a while, most of them actually have they own properties. And the good brokers, like, you know, some of the brokers who own companies, you know, the smaller companies. I'm not talking about the Keller Williams and stuff like that. I'm talking about the smaller companies that have been in business for a long time, like the ones in Doylestown. These guys, they have a ton of investment properties, and it's unfortunate that there are only a few people who have real estate agents want to invest, or who have real estate licenses want to invest. They should all invest. They should come to us. They should talk to us. They should let us know that they want to become real estate investors, and we'll teach them how to do it.
Well, I think the problem is that the agency that they're hanging their license at doesn't encourage them to invest.
Well, they can encourage them to invest because they don't make any money off them investing. If you're a real estate agent and you buy a deal outside the MLS, how does the company make any money? They don't.
Well, you're assuming that the deals are all going to be off the MLS.
Thanks.
You're also assuming that you wouldn't have the opportunity to partner with them or fund the deal. Think about that. Maybe you're an agent and you're thinking about being an investor, but you don't have the money and you figure that's a huge stumbling block for you. If you come and hang your license with the Addicted to Real Estate Agency, you become part of our family. You find a great deal, and we're not going to just fund it for you. We're not private lenders, but we are investors. And we'd love to be your partner on a deal. So that's a way we could help you out.
You know, we had a couple of people who came to us last month. They said that they were interested in finding out about how we can help them with a couple of deals. And it was funny because it was exactly it. They were real estate agents. They said, we got these deals. Let's make some money together. And we put one or two together. I got one right now where a guy's coming over to us as an agent, and he wants to work a deal. He's coming over to us as an agent, and he wants to know how we can help him with this deal he's got going on.
How many times do you hear it where an agent sees a deal? I hate to have this happen, but an agent says, "Wow, I really got a great deal. I got to find a buyer for it." Oh, yes. Why not be the buyer? You know, I mean, if you think about it, this is kind of harsh to say it this way, but if you're just taking on clients as an agent, you're just working for tips, right? You're making 3%. You're just that's you know, waiters get more than 3%. No, in all actuality, there is you know. There's a lot to be said about building wealth through real estate and not just getting paid every time you sell somebody a deal.
You know, it's funny. There's a deal that I've got going on. As a real estate agent, I've got a deal going on. And I actually told the guy, I said, look, if this deal, because it was a strange deal where 3 deals fell apart. And I said to the guy, if this deal falls apart, I promise you I will buy your house at the end of August. So we just got the inspection report, and the inspection report had a little thing in there that I think is ridiculous that they're asking for. Now, I haven't spoken to the client yet, but I'm kind of hoping the client says, I don't want it, you buy it. That's how different how different I am.
So one of the things that we have with our agency is we have a training-centric focus, and our training is not only for real estate agents, but it's for real estate investors. So if you hang your license in our office, you'll find out that we do trainings all the time. The trainings include how to invest in real estate, different strategies for investing in real estate, how to market for deals, how to find deals, how to deal with clients that are, investor clients, which is something. One of the things that when we were coming up with our little ads for the agency was saying why deal with clients that buy one house every 7 years when you can deal with clients that buy 7 houses every year.
I've heard that somewhere before.
I think we have a commercial with that, so that was the idea.
Good commercial. I'd like to talk a little bit about some of the excuses that you hear from agents and why they're not investors. One of my favorites, which I actually wrote about in Addicted to Real Estate, is I had an agent who was helping me years ago, before I had my real estate license myself, and this person was very good at understanding exactly. I was running around buying a house every 3 months with a technique that I called the all money down technique. If you'd like to learn what that is, you have to read the book Addicted to Real Estate, Why I Can't Stop and Why You Should Start. And that all money down technique is a wonderful chapter in that book. But I asked my realtor friend, I said to him, listen, you're obviously intricately involved in watching me buy house after house after house after house. And I'm just curious why you don't do it yourself. And his answer to me was, well, I got 2 kids. And I thought, what the heck does that mean? Do you think real estate investors don't procreate? I mean, we have families, I mean, it's just funny the excuses that people make for themselves, and that's all it is. It's a ridiculous excuse.
Oh, my favorite excuse is, what if I lose money? What if I lose money? How much money do you have now? Well, I have nothing in savings and I'm up to debt to my eyeballs. What if I lose money? Who cares if you lose money if you're in that situation? And that's what most of the people are in right now. It's crazy. They have credit card debt that's $8,000-$10,000. They have a mortgage on their original house or the house they're living in that's probably 90% or 95%, and they're worried about losing money. At that point, you should gamble all your money. There's nothing, take $100 out of your pocket and buy lottery tickets. What's the difference? You might as well buy a property and do something that's a lot smarter.
The other thing that happens a lot is what they call analysis paralysis.
Oh, sure.
So analysis paralysis is where people that they want to learn about real estate, but they just keep learning and learning and learning, almost like they're professional students. And there's people that do that outside of real estate too. But people will come up to me and say, what do you use for asset protection? I need to set up my LLC and I need to have multiple levels and trusts and all this other stuff. And the first thing I ask them is, well, what assets are you looking to protect right now?
Right.
So sometimes you need to develop the assets first, and that's what we teach people how to do. But you need to build the assets in order to have. Why spend money on asset protection if you don't have assets to protect? And learning how to find deals and make good deals is really what it's all about. And it is a simple business. It's not that complicated. You need to have some knowledge. You need to have the right paperwork and know how to use that paperwork. You need to just knock on doors and get out there and tell people what you do and get started. The first house is always the hardest one to buy. After you buy that first investment property, from then on, it's easy peasy, lemon squeezy.
Lemon squeezy, huh?
The thing that I always hear
Summertime,
people
lemon
say,
squeezy.
the standard excuse that comes out of so many people's mouths is, I just can't deal with that. I just can't deal with that. Well, I don't want my phone ringing at 2 a.m. and because the toilet is leaking. It's just ridiculous stuff like that. It doesn't happen, okay? I've been in the business since 1989. I own lots of property, 27 years in the business. Only one time did anyone ever call me in the middle of the night. And I think I threw him out of the house a week later. So, I don't even answer my phone in the middle of the night if you did call me, so it wouldn't matter. And it just doesn't happen that way, right? Yes, you're going to have issues with people, but name me a business where you don't have some kind of problem with that business. There's always difficulty in any business there is with getting paid, with problems that happen. It's called life, people. It's called life. You want to be an entrepreneur, you want to be a businessman, you're going to be putting yourself out there for risk and reward, and that's how life works. And there's no way to escape it other than to do nothing, which will put yourself in more risk than anything you could possibly do.
We forgot to mention the one that comes up quite a bit is I don't have any money.
Or credit.
Or credit, yeah. So part of what our forte is teaching people creative acquisition techniques, how to buy houses with none of your own money, without the support of banks, keep the properties, and sometimes even get paid to buy them. And that's what we do with the Buyer's Briefcase, is a product that we have. We teach people seller financing as a technique. We teach people raising private money, which is using other people's money, not banks, and finding the deals and how to find the deals where the deal, if you find a really great deal, the money will come. And we often talk, some people will go and look for the money and say, wow, I need to find the money first before I can go look for deals. We tell people, look for the deals, and if you have a great deal, you can partner with somebody. You can raise money from a private investor. You can go to your relatives. You can go to your friends. You can there's so many avenues if you find a great deal that you could explore to make that deal happen, that you don't have to worry about having the money.
Well, since we're running out of time, why don't we take a few minutes and talk about some of the meeting we have coming up and the Hatboro Car Show. You want to talk about the meeting, Jeremy?
Yeah, so our next meeting is Wednesday, August 17th. It's August 17th. It's a Wednesday night. It's at Maggie's Waterfront Cafe, which is a great venue. We have the whole second floor rented out for that meeting. You can come. You can order food if you'd like to. You have to pay for the food. There's a bar up there. I won't support your alcohol habit. If you want to get some from the bar, you can support yourself on that too. But it's a great meeting. We're going to talk about real estate investing made simple and why you should do it right now. And that's August 17th. It's a Wednesday. Come out and join us. Go to meetup.com. Look for Addicted to Real Estate, and you'll be able to RSVP for that meeting.
Yeah, I like that title, Real Estate Investing Made Simple. And I'll tell you what else I'm going to have. I'm going to have my new book, which is called How to Buy Houses with None of Your Own Money. And you definitely want to read that. If you want to learn the secrets to this business, I have put them in a manuscript that is available for the whopping investment of $20, and it can change your life, all right? So make sure you come out to the meeting. I might even sign a copy for you if I like you. Real Estate Investing Made Simple. Also want to talk about the Hatboro Car Show. It's going to be on July 30th, and it's a very cool day in Hatboro. Cool little town where everybody walks around, and there's going to be hundreds of really amazing cars there. And I hear that there's going to be a crazy moon bounce for kids with pony rides. And then I don't think that the ponies are going to be on the moon bounce until the end of the day. But, you have to build up to something. So it's going to be the combo ponies with people on the ponies in a moon bounce on July 30th at the Hatboro Car Show. Larry, what do you want to tell people before we get off the line?
Real quick, let's get you a real estate license. Give me a call. Give Phil a call, 267-988-2000, and we will pay for your real estate license.
What did you say? Did you say we'll pay for the license?
Is that okay?
Yeah, go ahead.
Are we still good with that?
Of course.
Are we still doing that?
We're still doing it.
Did we stop yet?
No, we're not
Did I miss
stopping.
another meeting?
We're not stopping. We're going to keep doing it. We pay for your license. Who else does that? Nobody but Addicted to Real Estate. Check us out at addictedtorealestate.com. Take care, people.